Hi, this is Julia with Prison the Hidden Sentence. And today I want to talk to you about what it's like going to visit your loved one in prison. And remember, there's going to be a lot of things that you need to do to prepare for your visit. You need to know what you can wear. Sometimes there's certain colors that aren't allowed in the prison. You can't wear the same colors as the uniforms that the inmates are wearing. Sometimes there's restrictions on footwear. Some places don't allow sandals. Some don't allow short shorts. And some don't allow tank tops. So just know what you can wear before you go, and also know how much money you can bring and what you can bring. Once you get there may be a locker for for you to lock up things that you can't bring into the visiting area, such as your medications. But those are all things that you need to go to the website of the facility that you're going to visit and read the rules and know the rules before you get there. It's really important for you to have all of the approvals and you filled out all of the forms and that you've been given the approval to visit so that when you do get there that you'll have everything that you need and the guards will be able to let you in. I want to also talk about the difference between a jail versus a prison. So if you haven't been to a prison before, I think this will be really helpful. The type of facility that you will visit after your loved one has been arrested will typically be a jail. And like I said, it's good to know the difference between the jail and the prison. When someone gets arrested, they're brought to the local jail, and if they get a short sentence, then they may be kept there at the city or county jail to serve their sentence. Once your loved one has been sentenced, and if it is for a longer period of time, they'll probably be sent to a prison. Depending on whether it's state or federal, determine which facility they're going to. So we'll be talking more about visiting both initially in the jail and then the prison. So when you go to visit your loved one, spend your time wisely. Remember, somebody is listening, so don't say anything that could incriminate yourself or your loved one. Always be respectful to the guards because remember, they can let you stay or they can escort you out or they can keep you from visiting again. When you go to visit your loved one in jail, it's usually a local facility, and hopefully you'll be able to park pretty close because sometimes it's not in the best part of town. So just be aware that when you go inside that you have to go through a metal detector. You provide your ID and let them know who you're going to see. Once you get in, they'll have you wait in a waiting area, and then when it's time, they'll bring you in and you'll be able to get to see your loved one. But that's about all you'll be able to do. You'll be able to see them. They'll tell you where to sit, and there will be a phone and a glass divider, so your loved one will need to pick up the phone so you can speak to each other. You'll need to pick up the phone too. You've probably seen these in a lot of the movies about jails where people are talking to each other, each holding the phone, looking through the glass. Well, this is what it's typically like in the jail when you go to visit your loved one. Be aware that sometimes there's a limitation of how long you can talk, but they should let you know that before you start. So again, spend your time wisely, remember somebody's listening, and don't say anything that could incriminate yourself or your loved one. So now when you're visiting your loved one in prison, your loved one could be in a state or a federal facility, and it'll be a little different. What you'll have to do is wait for your loved one to contact you and provide you with a form that you'll need to fill out and submit, and this will have all of the information on it. Once you submit the form, you'll have to wait to be approved, and then once approved, you can find out when visiting hours are, the days that you can visit, and any other information that you need for visiting your loved one. The first time you visit a state or federal facility, it could be a little scary. The drive is usually down a long road in a rural area or out-of-the-way area, and as you get closer, you'll see the fence and the barbed wire and the tower. And when you get there, park your car and make sure that you lock your doors and head towards, I want to say the visiting area, but there's usually a guard area, and typically there'll be a line there depending on what time you get there. So if you get there before visiting hours start, you'll be waiting in line with other people. And it's okay to talk to the people there. When it's your turn, the guard will call you up, you'll show your ID, and if you haven't been there before, they might have some identification of things they need to set up. So it could be fingerprinting, could be one of those hand scanners. There's different things. So once you get through that part, you'll go through the metal detector. Then a guard, and it'll be the guard of the same sex, will take you into a room to frisk you. And they do this for everybody. It's not as bad now because people are used to traveling and going through TSA and getting frisked, but before it was very different. They typically have you take off your shoes, and they feel the back of your feet to make sure there's nothing in your shoes. Then they'll shake your shoes out. They'll frisk you, your legs, and parts of your body to make sure you're not carrying anything. For women, they typically make you pull out your bra to make sure that you don't have anything in your bra. And if you have your hair up in a barrette or rubber band, they'll make you take your hair down, and they'll shake it out to make sure there's nothing in your hair. When they take you through the door, be prepared for a loud clank. It's kind of scary because once they close it, there's no getting out. You are in the prison. The guard will bring you into a visiting area, and typically you'll get there before your loved one. The guard will escort you in, and sometimes there's assigned seatings. There's usually vending machines, so at this time, if you wanted to get yourself something to drink or some snacks, you could do that while you're waiting for your loved one to get there. Sometimes they have games and cards and toys out there, so if you're bringing a child with you, you may want to grab some toys or grab some cards that when you do see your loved one, and if you wanted to play cards to pass the time, you could do that. If you brought money, make sure to make some purchases from the vending machines as soon as you get there so they don't run out. So when you're sitting with your loved one, once your loved one gets there, typically you can hug and kiss your loved one and then sit down. Some places let you sit next to your loved one, and some you have to sit across from each other. Some let you hold hands. Some let you have your arms around each other. Some let children sit on laps. So just know what the rules are and what you're allowed to do, because the worst thing that could happen is that they escort you out because of what they consider being indecent. The time you spend with your loved one can be very enjoyable. You can get things to eat from the vending machines. If you have cards, you can play cards. If they let you outside, you can walk around the outside. But remember that you're in a fenced-in barbed wire area. But still, it's nice to be outside. Sometimes they let you hold hands while you're walking around. So there's a lot of things you can do during the time that you're with your loved one. Sometimes you might feel a little guilty talking about some of the fun things that you've done, but your loved one does want you to enjoy life and to be happy on the outside. So make sure you tell them things that will make them happy, nothing really that will make them worry, but share things with them because they need to know what's going on the outside. Remember, where they are living, it's very structured. It's almost like being in the army where they're told when to go to sleep, when to get up, when to eat. So hearing what life is like on the outside, I think, is very helpful. Another thing that you could experience when you're visiting your loved one is called the count. They have count at certain times of the day, and when they have the count, the guard will announce count, and all the inmates will line up in a certain area. You can't talk to them while they're doing that. When they are done with the count, they can come back and sit down with you. While you're in the waiting room, it's typically discouraged visitors speaking with other visitors or speaking to other inmates. So it's best just to keep to yourself and to spend time with your loved ones. Now, when you're there, depending on how long it is, you'll probably need to use the restroom. Those are typically locked, so you'll need to let the guard know when you need to go. They'd unlock it, one person at a time, typically in the bathroom, so nobody else will be in there. And that way they're not worried about you guys passing anything to somebody else. So if the inmate needs to use the restroom, it's a little different. They might be gone a while because unfortunately when they go, they have to go back into a locked area. So there's a lot of times they won't go while they're visiting. However, if they do, just know it could be a while. A lot of facilities have picture taking, so you can go ahead and order a picture, and typically one of the inmates is there to take pictures with typically a Polaroid camera. So they'll announce pictures and you get in line and get your picture taken with your loved one, and before you leave you can take your pictures with you. There's also a commissary where you can buy different foods that your loved one won't get, while they're on the inside. So it's a real treat when you can do that, and if they have an open commissary, you can get them foods that they're not used to getting. So along with spending time with your loved one, walking around and playing games if they have those available, You know it's an opportunity for them to have different food than what they're used to, and again, like I said, that's a real treat for them. When it's time to leave, you can give them another hug and a kiss, and that's typically the hardest part because you don't know when you're going to see them again. So just keep a stiff upper lip, say your goodbyes, tell them you love them, and you'll be together soon. Hopefully everything will work out. You just have to keep a positive attitude and just think of the time that you'll be together on the outside. Thank you for your time, and I hope that this information was helpful and will make your visits easier as time goes on. My name is Julia, and I'm with Prison The Hidden Sentence. Please visit us at prisonthehidden-sentence.com and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We are Prison The Hidden Sentence, raising awareness one story at a time. Thank you.